Welcome back to the show, Reds. This is the Shankly Sessions, the Liverpool podcast. We bring you each and every day out there on the upper tier. If you would be so kind as to subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the video, and if you have time, if you could drop a little share as well, we would really appreciate it. Also hit that bell notification so you're alerted as to when we go live with content, and then you'll be all set up. Of course, you'll find us on all socials. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. This is your match reaction. Ajax 0, Liverpool 3. How nice it is to come on and do a match reaction like this. The goals: Salah on 42, Nunez on 49, and Elliott on 52. Nice little combination there. Like, we could have done with one from Bobby maybe, which would have been kind of nice. But we won't get too disheartened by that. Booked our place into the knockout stages of the Champions League with a game to spare. As I said in previous previews, it doesn't really matter this year by the looks of things whether you come first or second in the group. Looking at some of the big teams that are gone out, Barcelona gone out tonight, Ajax gone out tonight. That Europa League after Christmas is going to be absolutely lit, looking at what teams are going to be dropping down in it, which means it's really fundamental for any of the English teams in there to win their groups. To try and avoid some of those Champions League teams that are coming down into it. Some serious names going down into that Europa League. But what that does is it creates opportunity for Liverpool, potentially in the new year, when they get players back fit and healthy, to have a good run at the Champions League. Morris in the comments, as always. Always check out GP Productions podcast. Some great content going up there on a daily basis. I did make a bold prediction on this show that Spurs wouldn't get out of their group. It's still on. Absolutely, Morris. Don't know what you made. Were they hard done by on the decision, or was it the right call on the goal? I know you may not necessarily be the man to ask. I didn't see the full effect of it and stuff like that. Some people are saying it looked harsh, but VAR certainly took their time looking at it. But certainly Spurs are struggling big time. And it looks like Conte won't have to be too worried about him getting upset and leaving. The way things are going at the moment, Spurs might decide eventually to make the change the way things are going. But let's get into this match reaction and player ratings. We start off, before we even get into the game, I just want to say, how sexy is that green and red kit? It looks the absolute business. Really impressed by it. And if you could do me a favour, Liverpool Football Club, keep that white kit, and keep that white kit for Carabao Cup games and FA Cup games or something like that. Just throw away games, or if we're having friendlies during the World Cup or something like that, when we're in camp or something like that, use it then. I don't want to see that white kit again. That green and red kit is sexy as be damned, and it has to be a good omen now after picking up that win tonight. Let's get into the game. Morris back in the comments again. Haven't seen it yet, but I don't feel any sympathy for them with all the Olympic diving for penalties every week. Yep. Can't argue with that. No argument for the defense on that one, Morris. Yeah. Yeah, and look, they could fall away. This could get really toxic the way things are going, and it'll be interesting to see the run up to the World Cup, where they lie in terms of their top four aspirations, let's say. But let's get into our game anyway. Started off the first 5 minutes. I did call it on the preview when I spoke to Dave on his channel as well. Check out Dave LFC Chats as well. Super channel. I was on there last night for a preview as well as our own. I did say we might need to dig in for a bit. That Ajax will come out firing on all cylinders because they knew they needed a win. Anything less than that, and they were absolutely banjoed into Thursday night football. And we did have to dig in, and we rode our luck a little bit. And look, we were probably due a bit of luck the way injuries and stuff have gone so far this season. So it was good. We could have easily been 1-0 down. Berghaus was very unlucky, hit the post. We were kind of all over the place. First half was such a weird one, really. We were kind of like, for the first 20 minutes, we just seemed disjointed all over the place. We were coughing up possession easy, giving away the ball, a little bit disjointed. I noticed in our high line as well, we were playing very tight again, which is not really where you want to be. Joe Gomez again, nearly recurring what he did at Forest again. Seems to love holding onto a jersey. Twice he got cut out like that and nearly got turned. when you're up against players like that have that bit of skill, which we would expect from an Ajax team, extremely skillful footballers on the ball, very technically gifted and stuff like that. When they're that good and they're going to turn you that way, just drop off, just give them a yard or two and face the play. Don't be going in so tight where they can just turn you and spin you. You seen what happened at Forest, the free kick that he gave away that ended up nearly leading onto the goal, let's say. And it was nearly more of the same today. So you have to be really, really careful. So Trent, I don't know. Trent is still, so I'm just still looking at Trent and I can't seem to work it out at the moment. He still just doesn't seem right or doesn't seem himself. Seems off it a little bit. Very, very strange and stuff like that. Flacco the same. For say 15, 20 minutes was just a little bit lazy in the challenge, should I say. And again, I'm kind of wondering, are these players who are going to the World Cup, are they just being super, super careful with what they're doing? To the point where they nearly look like they're not putting it in a shift. So yeah, that was the first half. And then of course we took over after about 20 minutes. Then we got the ball down, started playing a bit of football. And then, as we know, we've seen with this Ajax side that, like, once you sort of get ahead of steam up and you start playing around them, they don't like that. They tend to wilt a little bit. We've seen in the two Napoli games, they absolutely got wiped out. And on 42 minutes, what a ball with the outside of the foot from our captain, Hendo. After that great news this morning in terms of the FA and that investigation, stuff like that, he must have been relaxed tonight going into that game. Plays a lovely ball outside of the foot into Salah, and Salah runs on. What a flick over the keeper into the net. Super, super goal. And it just, sometimes you look at that and you go, it infuriates you after what happened on Saturday, but then you have to enjoy it so much with our captain and the Egyptian king. So we went in at half time. 1-0 up. Of course, our defence, was playing a little bit nervous in that first half as well. Virgil at times was coming out for balls and stuff like that. And instead of going in, winning the ball, controlling the game and, winning the challenge and all that kind of thing, he kind of was taking a step back and stuff like that and giving them, shall I say, too much respect. Too much respect. We have to remember, this is a team that got absolutely pumped by Napoli twice. But we know how good they can be on their day if allowed. Looking at that halftime, could have easily been 2-0 down. We were lucky to win 1-0 up. And we also had a gilt-edged chance as well. Bobby breaking into the box there. How does he not shoot himself? How does Bobby not take that shot on himself? Ball arrives at him. Keeper is flying across the goal the opposite way. All you have to do is slot it into the far corner. Instead, he tries to pick out Darwin. Of course, Darwin strikes it and hits the post. Very, very unlucky. Sometimes I look at Darwin Núñez and I think, what has this kid got to do to actually, really get on a run? But he's doing well. He's putting the balls away. And I think we said, what was it? Is it 2 goals in the Champions League in 5 games now for both him and Harvey? Delighted to see Harvey scoring as well, and we'll get onto that in a little bit. But at half time, we really had settled it down in that latter stage of that. And of course, the goal was at the most perfect time for us. Looking at the stats there at half time, Ajax 4 shots to 6 and possession 51-49. I would have bitten your hand off for that after the first 20 minutes, but yeah, we'll take it. Little question for you, Reds, and I think it came up with myself and Dave last night on the show as well, on Dave's LFC chats. Steve McManaman. Does Steve McManaman actually realise at some stage in his career that he played for Liverpool Football Club? I've never seen the guy so negative in the commentary and so negative at times talking about Liverpool Football Club, his former club, who basically gave him the opportunity to go off to the likes of Madrid and back to Man City and stuff like that. And I just don't understand. He's just so negative towards us on commentary and stuff like that. It shocks me at times, Let us know as well, lads. What did you think? Should Bobby have taken the shot, or was he right to square it? I would have been selfish. I would have took the shot, especially the form that Bobby's in at the moment. That would have been another goal from him. It would have been a cracker. But I suppose we're trying to pump Núñez up, aren't we? We're trying to give him that bit of positivity and that confidence and stuff like that. And at times he has it and he showed it. Came out the second half. Perfect start after 3 minutes into the second half. Fine header from Darwin. Absolutely great header. He was being absolutely mangled and held by lads and still got the header away. Shows the strength of the boy in the box. Something we should be leveraging much more. Morris back in the comments. I think the pundits are all in it for clicks, pal. I think so as well. A lot of these pundits, actually, the way they talk, you swear they never played for the club. It's so strange. 52 minutes in, game over. Harvey Elliott with the tightest of finishes into the roof of the net. Absolutely delighted for him. And then as I said earlier, that makes it 3-0. It was game over. Ajax are off to Thursday night football in the Europa. Liverpool progress into the knockout stage of the Champions League. The game after that, we brought on subs. Obviously, Darwin came off because obviously we know he had been suffering from a tight hamstring, missed out on the Forest game. So we took him off and the game became comfortable. Just Darwin comes off, Jones comes on. Didn't really influence the game that much. Curtis Jones again. Not a big deal really. Because the game had kind of pittered out from energy on both sides, really. It was just kind of going through the motions then at that stage. 2 goals in 5 games, as I said already, for both Darwin and Harvey Elliott in the Champions League, which is a nice tidy return, let's say. On 70 minutes, we pull a little bit of this is like a turn in the card on Ajax, really, isn't it? When you take off some of your senior players and you bring on your kids. So we whip off. Hendo comes off. Hope the knee is all right for the lad. It looked a bit sore when he was coming off, so I hope Hendo's knee is okay. And Harvey and Flacco come off. And on goes Carvalho, Milner, Bajetic, who I think is going to be a smashing player. This is a guy who, because of his youth, let's say, he doesn't really freeze in the game and stuff like that. Played a couple of real nice balls and stuff like that. Very comfortable in possession. Looks a proper baller, even at that young age and stuff like that. And I think, to be honest, I think in opportunities like this, we should be giving him more and more minutes. He looks like he could be a real team player there for us. So really happy for that. And really happy for the young lad, playing Ajax on their own game, sending the kids on and bringing off the senior players. As I said, the game kind of wound down after that, after 70 odd minutes. It was kind of, we played a bit of their sort of game of keep ball and possession and stuff like that. I think the energy had gone out of them. They looked like they'd been beaten up by the campaign. The 2 games against Napoli obviously took a toll on them. And as we said in the preview, I mean, they're absolutely outstanding in the Dutch league at the moment. And I wonder, is that symptomatic of where the Dutch league is at the moment? Is the level that poor in terms of the drop off, or is it just, this has been a tough one for them? It's been a tough campaign. The 2 games against Napoli obviously have been really tough for them. So I wonder, is it a kind of an advertisement for where the level of the Dutch league is at and stuff like that? Because obviously some of the players that have come into the Premier League from the Dutch league have absolutely lit it up and done really well. So yeah, let us know what you thought of the game and stuff like that. Let us know your thoughts, how the lads did and stuff like that. Great to have them on. Let me know what you think of that sexy green and red kit. What a kit. Absolutely gorgeous. That's getting ordered. Let's get into the player ratings. Always nice to be doing player ratings on an evening like this. Let's start out. We start out with Alisson. Give Alisson an 8. We did ride our luck a little bit in the early stages and stuff like that, but Ali, as always, comes up trumps for us. Never in doubt when that guy is in the net. He came out as well, claimed a few nice balls as well, which is something we don't often see him do and stuff like that. But yeah, give him an 8 tonight. Trent, I gave a 7 to. I thought he was a little bit disjointed in the first half. His passing was a little bit astray. But in the second half came into the game a little bit more influential and stuff like that. At one stage, I don't know if you've seen the ball that was played into the box, and our furthest player forward was himself, number 66. And I was going, what the hell does he do up there? And then all of a sudden, they could have done a counter-attack. The keeper didn't see it, but he could have played the ball down the left-hand channel there. Trent was totally out of position, but he didn't do it, so we were lucky enough. But yeah, weird one. Gomez, I gave a 7 to as well. Joe, again, just a little bit nervy in defence, a little bit tight on the Ajax players. And again, as I said, when you're up against those technical players who can spin you and take off, just drop off a little bit if you don't feel you have that beating of them going in for that early tackle. Drop off a little bit. It doesn't need to be that tight. Hence, that's where you get that kind of jersey pulling and stuff like that. And another day you could be punished for it. We've seen it against Forest. Virgil, I give an 8-2. And was a little bit frustrated in the first half. You could see he was having to go off his defence, which is what I really liked. Something I've complained about this season is that he hasn't been that vocal at the back. He hasn't been that leader at the back. But tonight he was on it. He was giving out yards to his defence and stuff like that, where they should have been positionally and stuff like that. And I really like to see him marshalling that line when he's there. Robbo, given out as well, his energy was without doubt on the night as well, constantly up and down the line, probing and stuff like that. So Robbo gets an 8. Fabinho gave a 7-2 again in the first half. Our midfield, I thought in that first 20 minutes was just getting a bit bypassed and stuff like that. We didn't really get hold of the game, but certainly as Fabinho got into the game, then we gained more control on the ball in terms of the passing and stuff like that. Again, I'd like to see, I think these guys are going to look very different post-World Cup. I think World Cup at the moment, I think there's just that little bit of holdback at the moment. And again, you're probably not surprised because the level of injuries that we've had and that we've had to deal with, surely these guys are going onto the pitch going, the World Cup's in 2 weeks or whatever it is. Need to be really, really careful here because we seem to have the most bad luck when they're looking at these injuries at the moment. Hendo, I gave a 7-2. Thought he was really, really good. Probably could have dropped the captain an 8. Again, first half a little bit bypassed him a little bit until that Salah goal. What a pass from Hendo and stuff like that. Did try a couple of other passes as well, but they just didn't come off. Similar to Trent. Trent tried to deliver a few balls today, but they were just falling a little bit short at times. And we were coughing up possession a little bit. There was one pass he made up the wing there, and it just went straight to an Ajax player. Same as the pass for the counter-attack as well that he played into the middle of the park, went straight to an Ajax player. And a couple of times when he tried to switch the balls over to Robbo as well, Robbo had to work really, really hard to keep them in. Just small little things that, we could easily tidy up and stuff like that. We know the quality is in there. Let's move on into our front four. Nunez, I gave an 8-2. I thought he was decent tonight. I thought he was really, really strong. I thought there was plenty of energy about him. He looked like he was on it. Had a couple of really good chances. Was unlucky to hit the post with that one. But he took his header beautifully, and he had a couple of chances like that as well. But yeah, look, it's gradually getting there. His confidence is gradually building, and I'm sure if you were watching the match tonight, when he came off, he nodded to the gaffer and he knew it was the right decision, and he went straight over to the gaffer. And I don't know if you've seen the embrace that they made. The embrace was something really nice. How the gaffer is looking after him and protecting him and stuff like that, and gradually building them in there and stuff like that. So I think we're starting to wrap our head around that and doing a really, really good job on it. But it was good to see that he wasn't fed up coming off, that he understood, listen, we're going to need you against Leeds as well coming up the weekend. That's going to be a tough game. This game is wrapped up. You don't need to do any more. It's not about posting stats onto the board. It's about getting the job done, get out there, and then come back off. We can't afford any more injuries. You see what happens at the Forest game when we're really depleted. For me, now I gave a 7-2. I don't know. I'd like to see him a little bit more selfish at times. Didn't see him much in the game in the first half, really. Kind of flattered to deceive with a few movements and stuff like that. Second half, he was a little bit better as the game opened up, especially as we relaxed into the game and we had gotten those goals. I definitely think he should have buried that one. He shouldn't have squared. If it was me, I'd be burying that all day. I wouldn't have been playing it across, especially with the keeper moving the way he was. Just a small thing. Elliot, I gave an 8-2. Harvey, we spoke about Harvey at times in the strength and in the attack and in the tackle and stuff like that. He put himself about tonight great. He was getting stuck into lads. He was blocking passes, getting the ball down. Del Boy in the comments, what's the story, Del Boy? What's the bleeding story? How are you? Good to see you. Don't know if you watched the game tonight or anything like that, but yeah, we were decent tonight after about 20 minutes. And qualify to the next stage. Check out Del Boy's channel as well. Some great stuff up there. No nonsense, no bullshit, straight to the point and stuff like that. Calls it as he sees it, as it should. Mo, I gave an 8-2. Took his goal, lovely. Had one or two other opportunities as well, but at times he was getting bullied in the game as well. And as Ajax got frustrated with the way the game was panning out, they got a little bit physical with him and stuff like that as well. And at times he gets targeted. But certainly up there, he was stretching the play, he was making runs, he was doing some of the things that's much more familiar with him. I still would like to see, because of the change in the formation and stuff like that, I often talk about that link up play with Trent and stuff like that, for those overlapping runs. And he's going to do it a little bit with Harvey as well, but there's an adjustment there. They're trying to get used to each other and stuff like that. But that will come in time. But certainly a much better performance post the first 20 minutes. And certainly we could have at the start there have coughed up a goal and it could have been a very different game, but we didn't. We rode our luck, got out of the first 20 minutes, and then we marched on and we beat Ajax 3-0. Move on into the next round of the Champions League. We can park our European journey this season now. We can look forward to the draw and who we're going to pick out. We will do a show on that, looking what the permutations are and who we could get. Certainly after next week, it'll be very interesting to see what teams drop down into the Europa League. I'm sure I'll get together with the lads on a Monday mashup or a Thursday tier, and we take a look with their teams as well, what's going to happen in the Europa League with the teams that have come down when the dust has settled on all these group games. But certainly the European journey continues. Can't talk enough about that beautiful green and red strip. I keep on talking about it, but it looks absolutely magical. Put that white strip away. Just get rid of it. Until next time, Reds, if you want to contact the show, it is on Twitter at Session Shankly. It is the Shankly Sessions, the Liverpool podcast. We bring you as part of the upper tier offering every day. If you would, hit the like, hit the subscribe, help the channel to grow. We're producing content every single day. This has been your match reaction. Liverpool motor on into the knockout stages of the Champions League, while Ajax ponder their situation as they move into Thursday night football. Until next time, Red, let's do this. We will be back. We will be back tomorrow evening with Thursday Tier Talk, where we will do a little bit of analysis on all the European games. We'll also look forward to the Premier League this weekend. We'll do a preview on that. And as always, we'll be bringing you our tips, picks, and bets for the weekend. And we'll talk a little bit of news as well, I'm sure, no doubt. So we will see you tomorrow night. Friday, I will be back with a Leeds preview, as I always do. And hopefully we can bring a bit of momentum from today back into the Premier League now that we can park our European journey, focus on the league, get some points on the board, move up the table a little bit. And hopefully all is not lost yet. Hopefully this season, some parts of it are salvageable, as they say. Until next time, Reds, a pleasure. Always let me know in the comments what you think.